What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cool Fred's Garage. So today I'm about to get into uh, installing the gauges on the 1978 Malibu Classic. I'm sitting in the car right now, and I'm pretty much done with everything on the outside. I'll go up under the hood and show you guys, just give y'all a little bit of a recap of what I've been doing to this car. So basically, this project right here basically started out as an engine swap, and installed some electric fans. It's got headers on here, so it's got had original 305 engine. Right now it's got a Performance 350 engine with Summit heads on it. Alright, so what I'm in the process of doing now is about to get ready to install those gauges. So I'm gonna remove that the ashtray right there. So it's got a little adapter bracket there. It's got, looks like two 8mm or 7mm screws, something like that. So I'm gonna figure out what size that is and remove that out of the way. Alright, so over here, these are the gauges that's going in the car. So these are some 2-inch, they're Autometer gauges, but they're licensed by GM. They got the Chevy emblem on the gauges. So pretty much just got some simple gauges. These are all electric, just to kind of keep an eye on stuff like got the coolant tip, oil pressure, and got the volts. And then this right here is the holder that's gonna secure them. So alright, so I've already pulled the ashtray down. I didn't really know that this car would have a but it's got a light source right here, so that's good. So I can use this wiring to wire up the lights for the gauges without having to do a lot of extra work. So that's gonna help me out. Alright, so I got the bracket mounted, and I verified that I got power when the lights are on at this right here, so I can use this. I can use that connection there for my wire for the light supply, and I can also use this ground. I'm just going to run additional ground for actually powering the rest of the gauges up, which are the temp and the volt. So it'll have a fresh supply of voltage. So over at the fuse box, I've kind of tested a few things out, and pretty much what I decided I'm gonna do. So this will be, so basically for the gauges and also the supply that's gonna supply the 12 volts over to the AC fan controller. Well, the fan controller, the electric fan controller. So it's the variable speed fan controller that we're gonna be using in here. That would be this red wire right here. So it's got to get a 12-volt ignition signal to turn the box on. So a combination of that and the ground and the battery hot that's there, that's gonna switch the box on, and then the fans will be ready for testing. But back over to the gauges. So now what I'm doing is get that bracket out, and I gotta wire them up. So I'm gonna get this out and get it over to the table and talk a little bit about the wiring. Alright, so here go the gauges right here installed in the bezel. This video right here is pretty much gonna be an overview of just pretty much just getting these installed, but not so much as to getting them wired up. So because I've already done a video of wiring up some gauges they're a little bit different. There's some Autometer, a little bit different style, but they're very similar electric gauges. So I had a video that I did on that a little over a year ago, so you guys are welcome to check that out at the end of this video. So this customer pretty much just wanted, he may be doing some upgrades later where he's changing the dash and the cluster and all that stuff. But for right now, he just wants to be able to have, you know, some basic vitals of what the car is doing. So we got this gauge set here. So yeah, just your water, oil, and temp. Well, water, oil, and your voltage. So some stuff is already hooked up as far as the oil pressure gauge. I just put the adapter right there with a little bit of some Teflon sealer. The other side of the oil pressure gauge is right there on the block. So got a little T-fitting there. The other side is going to go there. I do got to get a hole put to the firewall. So we got a few wires here that's going to pass through. That's for, one of them is for the that's for the temp sensor there. So that's the temp sensor connection. That's the oil pressure connection. Pretty much the power. That's going to power up the gauges in the what's that? The power wire. And the light wire. So we already talked about where we're gonna get our light source from, but as far as the power wire, so basically the power wire gonna double as turning. When you turn the ignition on, that wire is gonna be for powering up the gauges, and also supplying voltage here. So that's gonna double. That's gonna work for the water and the volt. So basically gonna supply one wire and just gonna basically kind of tie them together. And that one wire is going to work for both of them. Then as far as the lights, I'll run like a little harness for the lights and get it and fix it where to connect up to there. So I'll probably be able to have like a quick disconnect connector or something like that. So I got a bunch of those somewhere. I got to pull out my, I got like a little kit with some quick disconnect wires that'll work for some of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff has the little spades. Had a spade connector so you can just plug in. That's pretty much what I was talking about, like a kit like this where I got several connectors like that. I also got like some random Dorman connectors that are pretty much the same style. So these right here, they're just able to just kind of fit over there. So that's pretty much how I'm gonna get those powered up. And then we got the oil pressure tube that's pretty much gonna connect from here to that connection that I showed you over on the engine. As far as getting power, there are a couple of auxiliary connections on the fuse box. So on the fuse box, let me see, grab this light real quick. So got a few auxiliary connections where you see some of the spades where you can kind of connect things. There's a accessory connection up there. So, well, that actually says AC. Let me see what else. I think that's ACC is for accessory. So we got a few connections, but probably what I'm gonna do is just use possibly like an existing connector, and I'll probably install something basically where you can add a fuse on this right here. So I've had a lot of success using these because what I can do is I can use that side of the circuit that's getting the power supply and hook up the original component. That's why you got two blocks where you can put fuses. I can get the original component hooked up, and then I can also supply power to the components that I need to by adding another fuse. So this is probably the route that I'm gonna go, is installing that right there. Make everything much simpler. All right, so here we go. So this is the gauges all wired up. So basically, this right here is the ignition, hot, power, and ground. So basically, this is gonna, when you turn the ignition on, this is what's gonna turn on your volt gauge. You get your volt reading, and then the water gauge. Normally, it'll go up to 100. Before it starts reading, but it'll kick up just a little bit. So that'll basically power those two on, and then this little smaller harness here is for the lights. So the white is for the hot side of the lights, and this right here is for the ground. This black wire here. So So I pretty much, just to kind of simplify everything so you don't have to do a lot of crazy wiring. So on some of them, I basically, like I said, this is pretty similar to how I wired up the gauges for that Ford Torino, those Autometer, the green gauges that went in. Very similar to that, but the only exception, these right here use like these terminals right here. It has those spade connections, so you basically use a connector like that to get them connected. And I think the other one had like the little small ring terminal that you use to you have to use screw like the nuts. So that's the only. But cause those were a little bit, I think those were like 2.5 or 2.25 gauges. These are 2-inch, but I pretty much wired them up in a similar process. That so on some of these, I pretty much got them kind of doubled up. So I don't have to just run a whole bunch of wires to it. So just to kind of simplify it. So that's pretty much it. So once I get it in the car, the oil pressure connection will go there. The only thing that's not connected, basically that's one of the other white wires that's going through the car, which is gonna go, once it goes through the firewall, it's gonna go right here. So our water gauge is the first gauge here on the left, but there's another connection down there, so that's for the sensor. So you normally have, it'll normally say, I'm trying to get my camera to focus. It'll normally say ground, S and I. S stands for sensor, I stands for ignition, and the G and D stands for ground. And also up here for the lights, you got your 12-volt hot and ground there for the lights. So I mean, you kind of see that these are real simple to get connected and wired up. So I just kind of built like a little sub harness here for it. So that harness is pretty much going to be integrated into the car. So pretty much you can kind of see where the light harness is going to be. So I was able to add kind of, and the nice thing about this car right here, it already has a cutout at the bottom. So I basically removed the ashtray that was there, but it has like a little pass through, so you can kind of get up behind the dash to make everything nice and neat. So I can kind of run everything kind of back there and then access it from behind the dash. So that's pretty cool. It's got this little pass through there that I'm gonna use. So this right here is our light connection. So that kind of cut down on me having to actually kind of come trace out a light source from like the fuse box or from other stuff. The only thing I do, basically, this has this ground and power for the lights. All I gotta do is just tap into an ignition hot source somewhere around the fuse box, and I think I already showed you guys earlier my plan for that. And I'm pretty much gonna use that adapter. I'll show you guys all what it looks like when it's done. But so basically, pretty much all I gotta do is just run a ground wire up under here for that longer ground wire. So it'll have this. I'll use one of the brackets. There's lots of little metal surfaces and stuff up under here that I can use. So pretty much that's gonna get that installed. And then once I figure out, I gotta get a hole in the firewall. I kind of almost got where I'm gonna run my hole at. It's kind of some insulation up there where it's already it's got a couple little spots there. I'm kind of go right there. So I'm gonna drill a small hole, see what it looks like on the other side. And I'm probably gonna go in that area there. I got some different size grommets that's gonna help me, seal the firewall up, and pretty much I'll run all my stuff there. So I probably run one of the smaller ones. I probably put the oil pressure wire separate. I mean the oil pressure tube. Probably put that in a separate hole, just to kind of, because it typically is a little bit hotter because the oil, the oil pressure, it may be slightly hotter. It may not be, but I don't know. But I figure it'd be hotter than some of the other wires, so that the wires don't get prematurely damaged. And then I'll probably put 2 different grommets in there, a smaller one, then a little bit longer. Alrighty, so I just got back from running some errands, so I had to take a break, run out, take care of some things, and now I'm jumping back, getting on the gauges. So I've pretty much I got my couple holes here This right here, you can tell this tube is sticking out. That's the oil pressure hose there. Well, the hole for the oil pressure. Yeah, the oil pressure line. And then this other one is the 3 wires that needed to go through the firewall. So that's for the fan control box. Well, actually, one of them is actually for this sensor right here, for the temp sensor. So that's run along there through this wire here, kind of going through that harness and back into the car. So I'm about to get ready to connect the oil pressure gauge up. And inside of the car here, I kind of got everything pretty much ran. This right here, that's the hot wire for the fan control box. So when I put the actual gauges in here, like it's got a little bit of it's got some wire harness attached to it, so I'll be able to kind of get everything wired up from there. But kind of on the other side of let me see if you can see it up here. See a few wires coming. So it's some little insulation there, so I was able to just kind of make a slit in it, kind of like a razor slit, and kind of get that back a little bit. That way the installation can still stay there, but I can get the wires to poke through. So that's pretty much what I did there. So I'm pretty much, after I get the oil pressure gauge fitting connected, basically that nylon tube, once I get that connected under the hood and the engine compartment there on the back of the engine, I'll be ready to get inside the car and get the rest of everything connected. Alright, so I pretty much got all the gauges just about ready to be installed. There's a few little things I need to hook up, but right now I'm working on the oil pressure. Alright, so I already got the connection under the hood on the engine tight. So now I just got to connect this right here. So pretty much on these nylon lines, for you guys who haven't installed these, pretty much when you get it cut to the size that you need it at, you got this little nylon, you got this brass collar. So what you want to put this on first. You want to make sure that's on first, because then you put this in. So and all you got to do from there is just slide it in there and just tighten it down. So pretty much as you tighten this nut down, that's what's gonna collapse that fitting, and it's more like it's kind of like a press fit, or a what they call a compression fitting. So as you get that tightened down, that's gonna get that nice and snug. So just make sure your line is in there good, and you just tighten that up. So I'm gonna grab my wrenches and get that tight, and the oil pressure gauge will be connected. So I got the light circuit connected. All this other stuff is power for the volts and the water gauge. And this right here is my sensor wire. So I just pretty much got to cut this wire here on this side, and I got there's one connection back here. Plug that in, which is pretty much this one right there. So that's pretty much how everything looking on this car right here. This particular G-body, everything can kind of go up through this hole here, and it can be tucked like nicely back behind the dash. So all these wires here will be nice and cleaned up, and they'll be tucked under the dash, and you won't see them. So the only thing you'll just see from the side is just that right there. But from this angle, pretty much from the driver's seat, you won't see any wires or anything. So that's a pretty nice install once I'm done with it. So I'm just gonna continue on. I'm gonna get that tight, and then I gotta get this in and get the gauge tight in there, and then that'll be ready to go. I got the gauges in the car mounted up, everything. I got the oil pressure line secured, and I got the mounting brackets and all that stuff secured. So I just wanted check the light circuit. I still got a couple more things to hook up as far as the power and ground to turn the gauges on, but I got the light circuit connected, and I turned it on, and these things look pretty good in here. So it's a nice nice white display. The pointers light up red, so they're pretty cool. And then if I dim the lights and stuff like that, they dim too. So they look pretty cool in here. That's a nice touch for this car. So just want to show you guys that real quick. I'm gonna take a break right now, and I'm gonna get it back on it probably tomorrow or the next day, and get the rest of the wire secure. So we'll have everything connected. So everything else is connected pretty much. It's just except for the power and the ground. And I got a couple other miscellaneous things to connect regarding to turn on the fan box for the electric fan. So this thing is almost complete. Got a few more little things here, little odds and ends. So yeah, so up under the hood, basically only piece that's really missing is the upper radiator hose. But I wanted to get the temp sensor in and get that secure, because I didn't want to be kind of fighting with the hose. So we got this adjustable adapter on here for the radiator hose. I got to figure out exactly where it's going to clock and kind of test fit the hose before I tighten that down. I'm going to go ahead and unhook this battery, so it's not, just unhook it in the meantime. Basically I just hooked it up so I can see those gauges, but everything on here is coming along pretty good. At the beginning of this video, I was going to talk about a few of the things that I was doing prior to. I know this is pretty much specifically about getting the gauges on, but you can kind of see. So basically, there's going to be a series of videos on this car, basically from where I pull out the old 305 and get this 350 in here. So I got footage on pretty much every major thing that I did. So the CVF belt drive, got that in. Got the big 3 power ground kit for the charging system. AC control box is in. So just a few little miscellaneous things here and there. I got some footage over on the AC. Basically, this thing's got a new condenser, AC condenser, the accumulator, pretty much everything over there in that AC box is new, all that stuff. So that's pretty much what I was gonna do. I'm just gonna hit on and talk about you know, a few things that's been done to this thing, in addition to the engine going in. A lot of the, you know, just the upgrades that's on here. But I'm gonna get back on this thing, and the main thing that I needed to get connected while I'm doing the gauges is that oil pressure line, because I don't want to be, you know, tempting to start the motor and you got oil shooting out. So that right there is complete. So we'll be ready to do a couple test spins. The distributor has to go in, a few spark plugs and wires got to get routed, a few vacuum lines connected, and this thing will be ready to fire up soon. So thank you guys for hanging out and checking out Cool Fred's Garage.